Hello everyone, this is the LEGO Ninjago Movie Lightning Jet, also known in some circles as the J-Bird, because J and Blue Jay, bird is a plane, J-Bird, yeah. You can just call it the Lightning Jet though. This is a really unique looking thing. It has all these spikes sticking out from it that are kind of like lightning rods, except they work in reverse. It's supposed to have just lightning just emanating from all over. A really interesting shape. The whole thing is just pinched together towards the front. Brings or draws in inspiration from a number of good old sci-fi elements, sci-fi designs from games and anime, I believe. Yeah, it just stands out, you know? It does not look like anything that LEGO itself has produced before, in my opinion. And around the back, interestingly, the jet exhausts, the engine outlets, look like they come from pod racers or something. But this view from the back is really striking as well. Just the shapes, all the shapes are really interesting. And that right there is a handle to hold on to this thing, which is really convenient. Now, the whole thing is only sitting on just the tip of this handle, and it also has this landing strut in the front, which looks like it can fold up and everything can transform, but it actually doesn't. But that's okay. I think it looks cool. The handle works perfectly. The balance is forward of the handle, but then my fingers, my thumb and my index finger, are just resting very nicely. Just the ergonomics of this are really good. Actually, I'm not even holding the handle at all. It's just resting on that thumb and index finger. And it gives me good control. I want to get better control, then I go ahead and get a grip on the handle, which is mostly hidden from many of the good angles. You know, when it's on the ground, you don't see the handle. From the side, you don't see the handle. So that's nice integration. Of course, it would be nicer to be able to take it off entirely if you want, but that's not that big of a deal to do. But this has a nice feature built into it with the electro spinner on the back. You just squeeze on this trigger here, and it's got a nice kind of spring-loaded style of mechanism. It's too bad that doesn't actually shoot anything. They do have the ability to shoot something, but it's using this old Technic competition cannon at the front. Now these work great, but the trigger is here. So to make that shoot, let me make sure I'm not pointing at anything that could be damaged by it. No, those actually work really well. It shoots very straight, has a rubber tip on it, but it would have been nicer if they had just something that they could connect forward to give you just a second trigger over here. I think it would be pretty easy to custom build just a trigger extension for that. But overall, this thing feels good, looks good. You could actually, if you want to, change the shape of the craft by bending, oops, that was entirely my mistake, by bending these out like that. Now they're in line with the center of the fuselage. Kind of makes it look different. I might even like that a little bit better, even though it's not as unique. You can also bring these apart if you want for an even different look still. Let me see if that'll stand up towards the back. Not quite. But that's actually kind of a cool look in and of itself. Any of those will work, but this is where it's most comfortable. This is how it's designed to go. But I appreciate being able to change things up a little bit fairly easily. The whole thing just feels a little bit wobbly when you're holding it by the handle, and as you just saw, there are some parts that can be pulled off. I mean, this is intended to kind of clasp around. This needs a little bit of room just to give a little bit of clearance above one of the pieces. This has a handful of stickers on it, not too many. It doesn't look very much different with the stickers left off, so if you don't want to include those, then just leave them off entirely. But I like this thing in general. It does have some funky colors showing up underneath, but from most angles you really don't see those, so it doesn't bug me at all. I like these classic elements that are used out towards the tips. And yeah, this is kind of like a stinger tail. This is the reason that it's angled down like that. Yeah, I don't know what this is supposed to represent. I guess missile launchers, possibly. They don't actually do anything, but you can just break the pieces off if you want to simulate firing them off. There's some detail down on the inside as well, like even, they added a little bit of texture right there. They didn't need to do that. It could have been more simple. This is done nicely around each exhaust port. Just just well done. Not a whole ton of pieces used that would have made it really expensive and just really extraordinarily complex to build. Everything went together surprisingly simply, and it looks surprisingly good from every angle, or at least equally good from every angle, if you like it. Oh yeah, also with these thrusters, you can bring these side strakes in, kind of tighten that up for a different look. These two bits can be brought in and out. I don't think they really do anything useful for the look of it. Last of all, the cockpit area has this bubble canopy, and it has a printed console in the front. They've used that piece on a number of sets up to now, but a couple of control sticks and a little bit of extra detail. It all works out pretty well. I was not able to figure out what the symbols on this one are supposed to represent, though. They don't seem to be direct connections to the Ninjago Movie language. Here's what Jade looks like actually in the cockpit. Bring the canopy down. See, that works out well. Even the sides of this seal up pretty well with only the slightest bit of gap there. Not something that bugs me at all. So this is nicely done also. On the bad guy side, the main inclusion is this fiddler crab inspired crab mech, which I think is great. I love its small size, and yet it looks like it has some power. It looks like it's something that would truly intimidate just regular citizens. You can articulate the large claw around. You can open it up. You could actually trap somebody in between that. You can actually turn it this way to grab things in different ways. So this is actually done pretty well. Plus, also on a ball joint is this 6-stud shooter over here. So you can kind of have a water spit attack of sorts. So that can be turned all around with its ball joint there. I mean, there's not a whole lot of room for it to turn, but you can figure out different ways to set it up. So that's kind of cool. And you can adjust all of the legs independently. It just has 6 legs. You can bring some of them up off the ground, make it look like it's attacking or trying to attack something in the air, for instance, the lightning jet itself, or you can just have it completely up on those, make it a little bit taller if you want to make it look a little bit more intimidating relative to figures. So just in terms of the height, see right now it looks like it's kind of towering above a person, but you can also get it down to the ground, in which case it doesn't look quite as strong, would move around quite as much. I was not able to figure out exactly what the symbols are supposed to be saying here. It's simplified down and abstracted too much on the flag. It's a double-sided flag, actually has a sticker on either side. Got a tank back here. This, the flag can be moved around. The tank itself can be turned around. I'm not sure what that's supposed to have in it. Maybe it's whatever fluid is going to be shot out by the cannon, or if it's just a fuel tank in general. And this had a real surprise, something that this is my first time seeing this particular new piece in my process of going through these reviews. That is a brand new for 2017 printed console piece, 1x2 slope, and the symbols on the left, the upper left corner, say Seek. I wasn't able to figure out what the other ones are supposed to represent, but they tried to get some of it in there. You are able to recognize some symbols from the movie, from their language, but they don't seem to make any sense. But yeah, that's a cool inclusion that they brought in for this wave. Here are the first 3 figures. Obviously, Jay on the left. On the far right is Ed, and in the middle is Edna. So Ed and Edna, or Edna and Ed. I like the torso print for Ed. It seems like a very useful piece. I think the print for the hips doesn't complete that connection for his overalls quite well. Or is it supposed to be more of like a bib in front, like a utility bib? Provides protection for clothes in the front and also has the little pockets for different tools and such. But I do like the torso piece. And all of these have good prints on the backs of their torsos as well. And all 3 of them get alternate faces. Glad to see the citizens getting alternate faces as well. They could have skimped out on that, but they didn't. I like the fact that they didn't, because they're useful. They can be used in other scenarios. Even once people forget about the Lego Ninjago movie, we'll still be able to use those parts for other scenarios and other things, other themes. On the bad guy side, on the far left, is Krusty. And I love his carapace, his helmet there. Really nice shaping on that one. In the middle is Jelly. I think people were going to be jealous of him, jelly of him, because he has 2 weapons that he gets in this set. But it might be that he's jelly of the unnamed General Thug, just Shark Army Thug, over on the right, because he gets to wield the Mjolnir fish. So somehow he's worthy. How that happened, I don't know, but wait. Oh, I just got it. I just got it. Oh, man, should have caught on to that earlier. So, Shark Army Thug, over on the right, is not worthy. It's the fish he's carrying that's worthy. The fish is carrying the Mjolnir. So the fish is the special one there. All makes sense now. Okay, so if you ever get a set that has this character in it, save that fish. That fish is the special one. That fish is the worthy one. Krusty over on the far left gets the standard armor piece that is shared between a number of these Shark Army dudes that has the single air tank built into it. So rather than having the 2-piece setup. And I really like the head globe pieces that are used for Jelly here. This is a soft piece, so it's not going to break easily. No alternate faces for any of these guys, unfortunately. And the one on the far left uses the exact same print as the one on the far right for the torso, so there's nothing else different to see beneath there. Nice main build in this set. I think is just a little bit lacking in action features. They definitely could have integrated the shooter better with the handle, and or included some other sort of shooting feature to be able to fire off more than one projectile in total. But the whole set is pretty good. I think it's actually made a lot better by its selection of minifigs. I really like this selection with the 2 citizens and also 2 kind of special Shark Army soldiers there with their special headpieces and such. The little crab is cool too. For how small it is, it can do a lot. That seems like a very massable thing to me. I think that they easily could have offered that up as its own thing, or even make possibly a simpler version of it as just a poly bag. But yeah, this is cool stuff. Oh yeah, there, look, the jet has its side pods opened up. I didn't even realize that was intended to be a primary feature you're supposed to use. I thought it was just supposed to stay together. But yeah, they even show it coming apart, which is good. I like it in that form with the side pods out. I also like it with the side pods parallel to the main fuselage. Although the side of the fuselage does have these open Technic holes, which don't look the greatest given just all the shaping of everything else. But that's definitely a nitpick. This looks pretty good from every angle, which is surprising given how much Technic building is used and how many Technic types of pieces that are used in its construction. Overall, I'm happy with this thing. Hope that you enjoyed this. I certainly did, and I'm going to continue working on more videos, so I'll be talking to you again soon.